Hi there, welcome to my channel. In this sketch and chat video, I'm painting a semi-portrait in oil paint. In order to paint in oil paints in the Stillman and Burn sketchbook, I primed it with a gesso from Blick. And you're gonna see me change the camera angles a few times throughout this video. Unfortunately, I just was struggling to get good light in this video. I was painting by daylight for half of this painting and I needed to move the camera a lot, so I hope that doesn't bother you. If it does though, let me know in the comments below and I will try to prepare better for my future videos. Now in this painting, I am using a reference from Unsplash. They offer royalty-free reference photos, and I'll try to remember to link this one below if you want to take a look at it. Now, I really liked the pose in this photo, but I've been trying to do something a little different in my painting recently. And so I chose to only paint the body and to kind of leave the face out of it. Now, last year I kind of spent the whole year really struggling with my style. I did a lot of studies using different techniques and of different subjects like landscapes, portraits, etc. And coming into this year, I just felt like I needed to start kind of getting to the heart of what I like to paint and not necessarily figure out my style, but allow myself to explore beyond doing straight studies. For example, most of my paintings are portraits, but I don't actually like painting portraits to look like specific people, if you understand what I mean. Like, I don't want to paint a picture of my mom for the sake of painting a picture of my mom. I like to capture emotion in my portraits, and it's more about what the painting is saying rather than capturing the likeness of somebody. So for this sketchbook and in the next sketchbook video I'll have coming out next week, I am experimenting with painting part of a figure in my reference and leaving some of it to trail off into an abstract sort of area, trying to put the focus on whatever part of a picture I find most interesting. And this particular reference, I really liked the way that she's holding herself, and I liked this black shirt that she's wearing. I feel like her pose is expresses almost a vulnerability. She's kind of hunched over and holding herself, but then she's wearing this really black, almost revealing dress, and that seems to also contradict her pose with the strength. So I wanted to put most of the focus on that. I might turn this into a painting later on, like a larger painting. I do really like the pose. But for this paintings in my sketchbook, I never want to spend too much time perfecting them. I almost want to leave my mistakes and leave them looking rough. Because I just don't have the time to spend perfecting them, but also because I think that leaving them imperfect or maybe incomplete, at least in my own eyes, allows me to go back and see what mistakes I've made and to kind of remember what I did while I was painting it, that maybe I want to do differently or maybe that I want to do the same. It lets me better reflect on where I need to improve and where I feel confident in my painting abilities. And also, I do think that there is sort of a beauty and an art to leaving paintings incomplete or non-perfect every artist has their own signature special way of painting. No two artists are going to paint exactly the same. The brush strokes of each person are going to be different. The way that they view the subject is going to translate onto the paper. And I feel personally that a lot of that unique signature happens in the first layer before you go back and start perfecting everything, because you can see almost how the artist is thinking, mid-thought, or how they're painting better. And then when you go over and layer over the painting, and there's still going to be your signature, but to me, I feel like there is something just a little bit more raw and unfiltered that you can see from each individual artist in the way that they do their sketches and their initial underlayers for their works. It's kind of like your finished work is what you want it to be. It's kind of like your hopes, it's your dream, it's your vision, and that says a lot about each artist. But then the way that you'll paint those images to get to that stage is unique to each artist, and I think it's something special for the viewer to be able to see, which is what I love about these sketchbook videos, and also taking the time to do what I call sketches, although these are maybe more refined than what you typically think of as a sketch. But I learn more about myself along the way, and I feel like I can record and show others where I'm at in each step of my art journey better through this. Now you see me kind of struggle going back and forth here. At this point in time, I'm on my second layer in this painting, and my first layer, I used this cheaper white paint, and it wasn't very opaque, so then the skin tone kind of looked a little patchy once it dried, because it was just a little not opaque enough to cover very well. And here you'll see me kind of going back and forth debating on how much farther I actually want to take the painting. I kind of like how rough it looks right now, and I didn't want it to be too finished, and I also wasn't sure if I'd be able to finish it too well. I mean, like, that hand there is so small, and frankly my tiny brushes are pretty worn out, so to get minute detail is kind of difficult. I need to order new brushes, but also I just didn't have time to spend working on all those details and making the skin look perfect. But I am pretty happy with how the hand turned out, because I didn't want to spend too much time making it look right. But I do feel like I got the general idea across here, and I stopped myself before I got too involved. So here, oh gosh, those lips are kind of terrifying, aren't they? I kind of just put a smear of red at the end of my first painting session. I think I was getting kind of tired, brain fatigue when you're at the end of a paint day. So here I'm going in and just trying to make it look a little bit less scary and a little bit more like lips and more like a face. But I definitely didn't want to finish the face. I wanted to cut it out before we got to the eyes, because I wanted the focus to be on the body language and not the eye language, if that makes sense. I feel like I have spent so many years focusing on the face part of portraits, and when you're painting a face, you kind of have to get the eyes right, because that eye, the eye language, it really, that conveys a lot of emotion. But I'm trying to explore isolating different parts of a figure to tell the story in a different way, and you don't always need to include the eyes to do that. And also the eyes, sometimes I feel like rather than conveying a general emotion, they give the figure an identity, which could be the goal. But in this case, I don't want there to be an identity to this posture and this emotion that I am feeling from the pose that this reference has in it. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I want it to be more like focused on the emotion of the pose rather than it being about the woman in the photo, if that makes sense. Alright, well, we're at the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video or have any questions about it, please leave me a comment down below, and give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.